Good morning, my friends and fellow credit union members, and thank you for the opportunity to come and visit with you today. I know you're in town to spread the message, to work on the things that matter back home in all of our counties and communities across the country, making sure that the cost of and the availability of credit is such that all of our neighbors back home can do the things they need to do to lead their lives. Let me, if you can, just take a few moments to visit with you about the circumstances, the situation, the environment you're going to find yourself in as you pound up and down the hallways of the House and the Senate visiting with all my colleagues. And oh, by the way, let me stress, it's very, very important that you be here and that you spend that time meeting members and House and Senate and our staffers to discuss the things that really, really matter back home in the credit unions. Now, you're aware, I'm sure, from my fellow speakers, that we are moving forward in a number of fronts, both in the Financial Services Committee in the United States House and the Senate Banking Committee in the other body, that whether it's trying to address CFPB reforms, bring the pendulum of regulation back to where it should be in the middle, or general reg relief, the effort at trying to create an encompassing set of changes that will make that credit and availability to our fellow citizens there legislatively. You know, and I need to stress this, I think, that while the national media may sometimes portray Congress, both bodies, as a place where we don't get anything done, understand it's a place where, in fact, we do accomplish things as long as the folks back home help encourage and push that. And that's why I appeal to you today to be so involved and understand the political lay of the land. There are those who would say that one particular party controls everything in the legislative process. Well, from a superficial perspective, that's entirely true. But understand, and I always stress this to folks, presidents sign bills into law or they veto bills. Presidents are charged with the responsibility of implementing the laws as passed. The legislative process, crafting, creating language, that's the United States Congress's responsibility. Now, I serve in the House, where we have a set of rules that very simply say, in effect, the majority prevails. So any given day on a piece of legislation, if you get 218 of the 435 members to agree, sometimes by party lines, sometimes by region, sometimes by economic interest, if you get 218 to agree, it happens. Might take a day, a week, or a month, but it happens. The other body, and I say that respectfully of my dear friends in the United States Senate, the other body is a different institution. They're a body where, with their unlimited debate rules, and remember, with 435 House members, you can't allow every member to say everything they want to say on any given occasion. We'd never get anything done. The Senate, with 100 members, has this unlimited debate concept, where quite literally, when a senator takes to the floor, and I say this respectfully as a House member, when a senator takes to the floor until the end of session, or the end of the world, and depending on your perspective, whichever one of those comes first, or they yield back, they have the ability to dominate the floor. So it takes 60 of the 100 to agree, in effect a supermajority. So that's why when you're in the hallways, it's important not only to see your House member, but to spend time in the other body. And it's important to not only focus on the member, but also on the staff, the senior people in our staffs who work on the policy issues. Because when a senator serves on 6 or 7 committees, a House member can serve on 2 or 3 committees. We may potentially have 2 or 3 subcommittees on each of the major committees. Making sure that those loyal and dedicated staff people understand the issues that are important, just as the members do, is critical. That said, it's possible to make things happen in the environment we're in. It's just harder. But whether it's CFPB reform, addressing data security, the Bank Secrecy Act, or for that matter, reg relief, we, I think, in this room understand the things we need to do. And if we'll work hard enough together, we can make those reforms. And I believe we'll have somebody down at the White House who'll sign those pieces of legislation into law. Do I enjoy being a member of Congress? I've been around long enough to have served under 6 speakers, my 4th president. Everyone has a slightly different style. And right now I'm working in an environment that's a little different than I've worked in for most of my time in Congress. Doesn't necessarily make it better or worse, it's just different. But the issues that bring us together still are, how do we make sure that our neighbors back home can accumulate their savings? How do they have access to credit to do the things they need to do in their lives and in their businesses? How do we give them a chance, as I like to say, to live up to their economic potential? And that's what the credit union movement is all about and has been from day one. Enabling everyone to live up to their potential and having the resources to do it. With that, let me simply conclude by saying, again, thank you for being here. You were here during an important period of time legislatively, and if we will work together in a dedicated and focused fashion, we can make good things happen that will have a long-term impact on the folks back home that both I represent and that you represent. Again, thank you for coming. Work hard this week. And when you're at home, go to those town meetings. Go to those member events. Get to know the staffers. Develop the relationships. That's how you impact legislation. Thank you all for being here.